We should recall that the DA did not outrightly win these metros. Actually, in some instances, like in Johannesburg, the ANC even won. They were the majority party. If you recall the statistics of the local elections, I think the ANC had 46% and the DA had 44%. So I don't think it will have an impact on their image. The DA came into power in Nelson Mandela Metro, Joburg Metro, and City of Tshwane due to the coalition or the informal marriage they had with the EFF. The fact that the EFF donated their votes to the DA, that's what brought them into power. But we all know, and we have said and predicted that time, that if the DA is not going to deliver what Julius Malema wants, Julius will withdraw the votes or the power that they gave to the DA, and we see it happening at the moment. So it doesn't come as a surprise to some of us that the party that put the DA into power is removing DA out of power.
Yeah. So just, it's quite interesting because I remembered one time Julius saw in the media that he will never use the people's vote to support the ANC. He said his existence was to directly oppose the ANC. But we hear reports that the ANC are confident that the coming motion of no confidence in Tshwane is sponsored and will be greatly supported by the EFF. Isn't this a betrayal of what Julius said, and isn't this a betrayal of the voters of the EFF?
Well, Julius, and this is an opinion and a view from my side, has been changing his tune for as long as he has been in politics. We all know that. He will say one thing about one person today. In a week's time, he says a completely different story. And the funny thing about this whole behavior and conduct of Julius in South African politics is that the followers or the voters or the supporters of the EFF, they still do not feel betrayed or misled by this conduct and behavior. They don't. This is becoming very clear that the war of Julius Malema, and I want to personalize him, not the EFF, because the EFF has quite a number of people who were not from the ANC Youth League. Okay, we know that in the EFF there's people who came from the PAC, from Azapo, from COPE, and so forth. But it is becoming clear and evident that the war of Julius was not the war of Julius against the ANC. He has said before his blood is green, gold, and black, and it will remain like that. And he is living to those ways. He is proving that his blood is green, gold, and black by taking away from the EFF the voters and the members of the public, the constituency, and giving back to the ANC that he demonized. But it is clear that his war was against Jacob Zuma. And that is becoming, very clear that it was about Jacob Zuma. It was not about the ANC, because I don't think Julius has anything against the policy position of the ANC. Even in some of his speeches, when he talked about we are removing corruption away from the ANC, the DA is a better devil, if you remember those words.
Yes, I do.
We'll rather give it to the DA. Now, is the ANC a better devil? Nothing has changed in the ANC except the leadership of the ANC at top. And that's all. The ANC still have the same policies, same MPs, same cabinet ministers who have been reshuffled and moved around. It's the presidency that changed. So I don't think he's a loyal and honest person. But we should also recall that Julius Malema himself has stood up and said there's no permanent friends and permanent enemies in politics. Basically, in my observation, he simply meant you can trust a person tomorrow and distrust the other person tomorrow. There's no loyalty. There's no honesty. And it's very worrying that a very good and growing political party like the EFF, it's bending to where the wind bends. And there's no principle. There's vote to the DA. The DA is a white, in my view, white racist, a male-dominant party dominated by male Afrikaners. And the EFF giving its vote to the DA, it was going against its own principle of giving women. You know that in the EFF they believe in having 50% of women or more in their leadership structures. When the EFF started, it was like that. It is no longer like that at the moment. in giving women 50% of everything in municipalities, metros, and provinces. But then they gave the vote to the DA, which doesn't push that principle. So that minor thing already demonstrated how Julius is actually, in my way, misleading the EFF, because at the moment as a nation, we do not know what the EFF stands for except what is on paper. What is on paper is a different story. What they do is completely different.
And just to cut you off, at this point in time, you see that the EFF is campaigning to take leadership of the country. Do you think that they will do this with an outright majority, or when they are saying this, they're looking at it that they will gain or they will get support from smaller opposition parties? I'm talking at national level.
Well, if you look at it, then let us be realistic. Besides the ANC, no political party in South Africa at the moment is in a position to can have the outright majority. And the ANC may even lose that outright majority come 2019. Depending on what the ANC is going to do between today and the national elections next year.
Yeah.
They may lose that. There are two reasons why the ANC may lose that. One, it is because of the division and the factions within the ANC. It is more divided today than ever. The fact that the Jacob Zuma faction still holds power within the ANC. They will not vote. ANC voters and members, they will not vote against the ANC. They will abstain from voting like it happened during the local elections. And that will damage the party, percentage-wise regarding votes. However, there will still be majority. I'm of the opinion that the ANC will still be majority, even if they lose the 51% vote. They will still be the leading party in the country. Now, what that does, that calls for coalition politics, which is unfortunate and unsafe for the country. And once we go, I don't think South Africa is ready for coalition politics. We have seen with these metros, it's playing games. It's not about service delivery. It's not about delivering to the people of those municipalities and metros. I mean, you look at the Nelson Mandela Metro, for example. The mayor of Nelson Mandela Metro today is somebody of whose party received 1.45%, the UDM. 1.45%, and they've got the mayor from that party today. That is the danger of coalition politics. But also, I don't think the EFF will rise to an extent that they will win even over 20% of the national elections. I doubt it. There's new parties on the block. There's new people who are coming into politics. The ANC is rebranding and rebuilding itself. We shouldn't underestimate what they are capable of doing. But the DA will be harmed because black people who had voted the DA before, with what has happened in the metros, they may decide to take their vote somewhere as well. So we are going to be faced with coalition politics. If the ANC wins the elections next year, they will win it at a very close margin. I still believe that they will be the ruling party or the leading party in the country. But if they are going to go into coalition, the danger they will do is to go into coalition with the EFF. As you can see now, Julius is a very shrewd and smart politician. He will not go on record or signing an agreement. It will be a gentleman's agreement that he can turn around and leave it as and when he wishes. And that's politics. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So he will go to where his bread is buttered most.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of politics that we are going to be facing. But you know what happens when the kind of situation is in the country? The nation will suffer. Service delivery will suffer because then the focus is on politicians and not on what they are supposed to do to the voters or for the voters.
Yeah, I agree. At some instance, non-partisanship in politics is fine, but I agree with you that in this instance, it may harm voters themselves. Just to move on to a separate issue, okay. The state capture report inquiry has started, and more people are coming up with their testimony. What's your reaction towards the entire proceedings? Well,
it is an unfortunate. I call it a Gupta-Zuma capture inquiry. It is definitely not a state capture inquiry. And I will explain to the listeners and to yourself why I'm saying that. One, in order to capture a state, we know that in South Africa, it's a democratic country or a constitutional democracy. A state has three tiers of government. You have the judicial authority, you have the legislative authority, and you've got the executive authority. Now, In this instance, we are focusing on the executive authority that the president was captured by the Guptas. We are not looking at the judicial authority. Was the justice system of the country captured? We are not focusing at the legislative assembly, which the National Assembly was. The National Assembly, the lawmakers of this country, were they captured? So you can't call it a state capture when the other tiers of government are not captured. If you look at the definition of state capture, the majority of the arms of government will have to be captured to be declared a state capture. And in other countries, like in military states, it will have to be the military as well as the executive authority. In countries that are economic driven, like the USA, it will have the economic sector, like the federal bank, as well as the executive authority. Now, we are a constitutional democracy, so those three tiers of government, two of them will have to be captured. Either the executive authority and the judicial authority, or the executive authority and the legislative authority. But that is not the case in South Africa. What we have seen since this process started, it has been a backbiting and hitting and backstabbing of ANC leaders fighting among themselves. Because if you look at the people who have been putting testimonies there, they are from the ANC against each other. You know, it has been everything against the Guptas and Zuma, And I think also it has been very disappointing how the testimonies of the witnesses or the applicants, whatever you call them, particularly Ms. Mento, it was, you know, she is not even half of what she was when she was on media interviews, what she used to write on Facebook and so forth. She's not even half of that. You know, she has lost memory on many things. These things are insinuations and allegations which are not supported by facts. Now, we all know that in a judicial process, evidence, it has to be primarily supported by material evidence, documents or whatsoever, or witnesses who can come and corroborate whatever you are alleging. We don't have that at the moment. So I think it's a very disappointing process. I think South Africa has wasted money and time with this process. If there was wrongdoing, if anybody suspected that there was wrongdoing, theft and state capture, or people were corrupt, because I think we're dealing with corruption than state capture.
Yeah, I mean,
they should have went to the law enforcement agencies and laid cases and open cases. And I've yet and I understood that Ms. Mento and Mr. Jonas have said they did not trust the Hawks and the police at that time. But I've asked a question. Didn't they trust their own organization, the ANC? Didn't they trust the justice system? Why couldn't they approach the justice system if they were feeling that the police and the Hawks are compromised?
I just want to ask you there that you are saying, and I agree with you, that it seems as if members of the ANC are pitted against each other in this corruption in commission of inquiry.
Yes.
How does this affect, and we talked about this earlier, how does this affect the divisions that are already there within the ANC, and how does this affect them when we look at the elections? Because I focus mainly on elections 2019 because that's where everybody is looking at. We might not be talking about it now, but in all honesty, every action that is done now has people, the consequences of 2019 like. So how does this affect?
Absolutely. If the ANC is not careful enough, you should remember what brought the state of capture inquiry. It was the DA, if you recall how it started. After the public protector's report, then it became the DA and they pushed for it. The DA has played ANC into politics that they were never aware of. They realized that the ANC is a big elephant, it's a giant that cannot be defeated through the ballot box. So what they had to do was to tear the ANC apart. And the only way to tear it apart was to use the EFF, which was already a very big chunk that left the ANC. And the remaining chunk, in order to reduce them to less than 50%, was to pit them against each other. And they have succeeded in doing that. You know, this, if you recall what I said at the beginning, if the ANC is going to depend on how the ANC manages itself between today and the elections. If they don't manage their affairs very well and repair the damage that has happened to the organization, they may be punishing themselves like it happened in 2014. And I am of the opinion that at the moment they are not doing enough to can control the damage. This commission of inquiry is going to damage the ANC further. because ANC is a number-based organization. It's an organization that is based on grassroots, on people on the ground. They may be sitting with approximately 800 to 1 million members, 800,000 to 1 million members. But when it comes to national elections, they, for example, will be able to pull 11 to